Find out about the back to work incentives in one state and how they boosted the job market. Which state is now paying higher wages for those coming back to work? How old is the average person now think they're going to be when they retire? How much support is AOC proposed unemployment extension getting in Washington? And finally, you got to talk about AOC's Met Gala tax the rich dress and what that means. You got to see it. I'm covering so much when it comes to this part as the final story, which is going to blow your mind. So make sure you stay to the end. Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic, soothing summer. My goal in these videos is to give you the best information to access government and private money for yourself, loved ones, and your business. So stay tuned to the channel for personal, real estate, business, videos, stock market, crypto, credit, investments, and other. But first, New Mexico was one of the few states offering back to work incentives for those who are, well, going back to work. At the time of announcing the program in July, and we covered it on this channel, New Mexico's unemployment rate were among the highest in the nation, and state officials are attempting to tackle this issue. First, they offered a $1,000 benefit to those returning to work back in July, but at the end of the July, they went down to $400. They kind of cut out $600. I guess if you didn't find a job fast enough, you missed out on $600. 5% of the New Mexicans qualified for these benefits. In order to qualify, New Mexicans had to have to land a job in the month of July. Ricky Sinna with the Department of Workforce Solutions said, quote, "At the end of the day, we're putting resources in the hands of New Mexicans for the purpose of making the purchases that are essential to getting them back to work and going to help them who are working in those businesses that they're spending in," end quote. The success of the program saw 1,000 citizens of the great state of New Mexico returning to work every week. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Did your state have a kind of benefit like this? We've covered lots throughout the country, but what were the results that you saw in your states? Did it help out at all? Meanwhile, other states have benefits of their own, kind of like Alabama have permanently increased their wages across the board. With all the wage increases, Alabama saw unemployment shrink to 3.1% last month. It was 3.2% in July. Do you think that at 3%, those who want a job could get one? Do you think that? And that 3% just don't want a job? This is all the way down from the state's high of 13.2% last April. So how did that happen? How did this happen? Let me know, because it's a mystery. Well, the average wage went from $993.35 in August, which was $942.57 this time last year. So up about $50. Governor Kate Ivey said, quote, "Employers in Alabama have jobs to fill and they're doing so at a good pace. We're proud to progress Alabama to make as we continue to overcome the challenges of the face due. Alabama is working again, and we know our work is not done yet," end quote. It's never done, buddy. Never, ever, ever, ever going to be done. Again, these aren't back to work incentives. These are permanent wage incentives. Besides, if you were a politician and you ran, did you think you were ever going to get a day off or a minute off, or when people weren't attacking you and challenging you about what you're doing? Not going to happen. That's the responsibility of being a public figure. We own you. Turns out that, yeah, all people want is just to earn a comfortable income and return to work. That's most people. Like we've talked about before, 7 of the people that are out of work, 1 of them is the only one that would choose to stay home when they could work. 6 really have a problem. Let's hope that more states follow suit and bring the country back on track to an unemployment rate that we feel good about, we can brag about. Next up, with wages going up along with plenty of other investment opportunities, what is the age of Americans say they plan on retiring? Is it never? Are you going to die with your boots on? I think about that. I think I'm going to work till the very last day, the last minute. We'll see. The average age of an American citizen planning to retire is 62 years old. Starting off, Gen Y, millennials, aged 25 to 40, hope to retire at the age of 59. While Gen X, 41 to 56, hope to retire around 60. And finally, baby boomers, aged 57 to 75, are really hoping to retire by age 68. On top of that, 83% of U.S. investors are confident they will be financially secure when they retire. They're just another reason to consider starting an investment portfolio. Dave Goodsell, executive director of Nintex Center of Investor Insight, said, quote, "There's a lot we can be done to educate individuals on what their investment options are, how to go about planning for retirement, and how to put the pieces together," end quote. In other words, yes, you can retire by the time you plan to retire. Even millennials hoping to retire before 60. If they're smart with their money and educate yourself on finances, not only is it possible to retire at 59, it actually is happening often. So it can be done. Also, you got to talk taxes. These new tax plans are going to change the way we look at retirement, and money will be pulled out of the economy and go directly to the government, as they have a huge tax plan to go after the middle rich and the up. I don't think they'll ever touch the really rich. When somebody gets $1, a year income is what they're reporting, but yet they're billionaires. They get all kinds of different incentives and don't pay taxes. I don't know how you're going to get them, but everybody that is making over $400,000 is under attack, and that's going to be, a lot of small businesses that are going to see their earned money go towards paying taxes. Now let's talk about AOC pushing for unemployment extension until February 2022. How likely is it to happen, and how much support is she getting? You might be asking yourself. Well, Biden is kind of like pissed at her. No, I'm just kidding. Biden is kind of just waiting it out. While he's on vacation, Democrats like Cori Bush have shown strong support for AOC's unemployment plan. Bush tweeted, quote, "Cutting off unemployment benefits has been proven to do nothing to get people back to work. We need to bring back federal unemployment benefits until we get under control. I'm proud to co-sponsor this bill," end quote. Yes, some Democrats are likely pushing Speaker Nancy Pelosi and, of course, Chuck Schumer over at the Senate to take a look at AOC's proposal bill. Take it seriously, even though she's a junior congressman that wears interesting letter dresses, which we're going to talk about. Apparently, neither Pelosi nor Schumer have responded to her. Despite having, it's almost like they're a family fighting. AOC seems like their kid, she's such a troublemaker. Despite having several outspoken Democrats, AOC expressed her strong thoughts from both parties. Quote, "I've been very disappointed on both sides of the aisle that we've just simply allowed unemployment assistance to completely lapse, when we are clearly not fully recovered from the consequences," end quote. "It's too early to tell where we'll go, and what will happen. I do have hopes that the Democrats will come around, as we're seeing more and more support for the bill as she gets on the media and the news and gets media attention, which gets attention to the bill, which gets people to have to listen to what she has to say. And finally, we got to talk about some clothing. I wear the same thing every day. You wouldn't think I would talk about clothing, but we're going to talk about clothing. Speaking of AOC, how many of you guys checked out the photo from the Met Gala last week? Right? We had Kardashian that got a big one for what she wore. But interesting, they talked about, if you're in politics, you saw, or finance, you saw AOC's dress. Everyone's been talking about AOC's dress, not just Kim Kardashian's dress. The dress was white and didn't exactly stand out at all much, besides the big red letters that read, quote, "Tax the rich," end quote, written across the back of the dress. It was kind of hard to miss. So obviously started a lot of conversations, as AOC intended, about poverty and taxes. Many believe that the rich are not paying their fair share. In fact, most of the billionaires probably don't pay much at all. AOC and other lawmakers proposed a bill that would increase taxes for those who earn $400,000 or more this year, which is definitely not taxing the rich. The super rich is who needs to be taxed. I wish your address said that. Tax the super rich. Yeah, because the rich can easily be poor with a couple of wrong turns or a lawsuit. This is Biden's tax plan we've been talking about the last few days. Also part of the tax plan were new rules set for index funds and the IRS, who will be able to have access to your bank accounts. No more personal financial privacy. Everything's going to be fully disclosed to the IRS. Everything you do, so it'll be under scrutiny and question. Let me know what you guys think below about that. Would you like all of your bank statements, everything over $600, scrutinized with a microscope with the IRS? Do you care? Love to know in the comments. Obviously, this is a decisive topic, but I would love to hear your thoughts, my community, because that's all I care about. If you still haven't applied for unemployment assistance, get a head start on the weekend, even though we're at the end of it. In the most states, there's still time to process your claim of unemployment benefits by visiting your UI website, uploading your employment history, and filling out the application as generally as possible and to the best of your ability. Remember, state benefits, whether you didn't collect any unemployment all this time, you still should get 26 or 27 weeks of state benefit. That's just unemployment since the 30s. The federal benefit is what's gone away. The PUA, the BEUC, the lifts, the bonuses on top of the state-provided benefits. But you can still go back for a short period of time, a window, and get those boost money for the weeks you missed. If you're honest and truthful in answering those questions, you could receive a backdated unemployment check for thousands of dollars. Currently, the PUA, which was supposed to be uplifted and opened, we haven't seen it open yet, although legislation said that they need to open it so that you can file your back unemployment for gig workers, self-employed, independent contractors, 1099 workers, people with side hustles, or if you're a freelancer. Make sure, let us know in the comments if yours has opened up in your community. I would love to know if your state opened it up and did what the feds asked. Please keep sharing your UI unemployment benefits in your state, and please be safe out there. Please be safe out there.